You're looking at a website called Shapeways, and Shapeways is a website where you can go and you can purchase 3D printed products. And so if you are a designer, you can design products to be printed and in 3 dimensions, and then you could list them for sale here, and people could come in and order these products, and Shapeways will print it and ship it to any of your customers that order it. So in this video, we're going to look at another output device, which is a 3D printer. And we're going to talk about 3D printing, and we're going to see kind of how amazing it is and how this might be a new thing, which is coming down the pathway towards us from technology, and it's going to kind of revolutionize industry and different things a little bit. It could. Some people speculate it will. Some people say it won't. But already there's a lot of interesting stuff happening with 3D printing. If we go to featured pics here at Shapeways, these are some of the different products that the staff likes. Here we have a little iPhone case with a pie character on it, a beer bottle opener that somebody's created, a little piece of art, a Nautilus, more iPhone cases, some kitty cats, lightning valve caps for your bike. What else? What else? What else? Some kind of interesting stuff. A vase. Wow, for $487. That's expensive. So, yeah, 3D printed stuff. If you go to Wikipedia and read about 3D printing, it's an additive manufacturing process. They call it 3D printing, right? And what that means is that we can print molecules, like print a substance on top of a substance. And so we just keep laying down layers of, like, let's say it's plastic, a little bit of plastic, a little bit of plastic, and we keep laying those little molecules in the right area, and it's an additive process. So here at Wikipedia, there's a time-lapse video of a 3D printer for molten polymer deposition. So it's laying down little pieces of molten polymer and creating an object layer by layer. So it's an additive process, which is different than a lot of machining and the way we create a lot of different three-dimensional objects today in industry and manufacturing, which is a subtractive process that relies on removing materials by cutting or drilling. Some of the uses for 3D printing technology: it's used for prototyping, so creating new products and seeing what they look like. Let's just print one out and see if this is what we're kind of thinking about, right? So the quality isn't quite there for 3D printing. I couldn't 3D print this big beer mug stein in glass. That's not there yet. I could print that in some kind of plastic polymer probably. But yeah, so, I could prototype it, right? I could say, hey, this is what it's going to look like when it's produced in glass. And so we could actually physically look at it. So it's used for prototyping. It's used for what's called distributed manufacturing, right? Where, like with that Shapeways, it could be printed anywhere. The product can be printed anywhere. So it's manufactured. The manufacturing is distributed so that, the product can be made anywhere, right? A form of decentralized manufacturing practiced by enterprises using a network of geographically dispersed manufacturing facilities that are coordinated. It can also refer to local manufacture via the historic cottage industry model, or manufacturing that takes place in the homes of consumers. Kind of interesting. What else is it used for? Like industrial design, automotive, aerospace, military engineering, civil engineering, dental and medical industries. So dental and medical industries, biotech, human tissue replacement, right? So we're going to learn a little bit more about how they're printing biotech stuff like organs here in a moment. So if you Google images for 3D printers, you could see some of what 3D printers are doing, right? Printing some kind of a structure there and some other kind of a structure. There's a 3D printer. Here's another 3D printer printing a little race car. The Eiffel Tower after it's been printed. Kind of cool. That's just a make-believe image. What else do we have? So a larger 3D printer with, maybe a prototyped race car. Some different images of things that have been printed. Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. And you can kind of start to see, oh, we could prototype these gears and look at what these parts look like. I want to see that image right there. some more stuff that's been 3D printed. So it's pretty intricate and detailed and kind of cool looking. Yet more 3D printed devices and products. So that's cool. So just some of the stuff that's out there, you know, prototyping products and things like that. If you search for how much do 3D printers cost, if you just want to kind of get one for your house, you're looking at $1,600, $2,800, $4,000, $2,200, $800, $2,500, $1,400. So they're still relatively pricey. And you know, here's a replicator, right? $2,800 for a 3D printer. There are 3D printing services out there where you could create designs, like at Shapeways, right? You can upload your design schematics to Shapeways and they'll be able to print things. But there's also more industrial type 3D printing services. And, you know, I just Googled 3D printing services and came up with these two companies. Well, this one company, Solid Concepts. So one of the things that's interesting is somebody has recently printed this lower, I'm not sure what it's called, but I'm guessing, you know, 3D printed guns. That's something that's kind of like coming online. So here's somebody who printed the, you know, magazine to hold the rounds, and then this part for the gun right here, which is apparently the part that's regulated in the AR-15. And so that part is being printed, right? So here you can see that image of it, and then this image of it. And one of the things we're going to look at here coming up is Vice talking about 3D printed guns, where they discuss that. So you'll get more information on that in a moment. And if you just go to Google and search for AR-15 3D printed, you'll see a lot of interesting articles about you know, 3D printed AR-15s and guns. And this is the part that is critical to the AR-15, apparently, which they're printing. Here are images of 3D printed organs, right? So I'm not sure what these organs are. There's an ear there. It looks like that's a finger. Maybe that's a kidney. I don't know. Here's another ear, right? Which is pretty amazing. Yeah, a bladder. There's a bladder. An inkjet made my bladder. Kind of crazy. That looks like it's a heart. So, you know, they're doing some pretty amazing stuff with 3D printing and biotechnology. And there's also a TED Talk, which I think, is that listed here? 3D printing changed the world, growing new organs. So that's also one of the resources you're going to see here in a moment. And finally, Google 3D printed organs. If you look at these different topics, you'll be able to see a lot of interesting stuff. 3D printing human organs, but where's the money? How 3D printing body parts will revolutionize medicine. How do you 3D print a heart? Researchers closing in on 3D printed hearts. Chinese scientists are 3D printing ears and livers. Cool. So we'll be able to order a new liver from China to counteract all the liquor we're drinking from Europe or wherever. Yeah, so a lot of interesting stuff about 3D printing. Another output device, essential to know about.